In college, figure drawing was required of freshman art students, all of us. And at the risk of sounding like a blushing, giggling child, the prospect of sketching a nude figure for the first time absolutely terrified me. I was introduced to a sketching style that changed how I see forever. Today is all about gesture drawing, friends. Not for figures or portraits, necessarily, so stay with me, don't get scared away. Because if you're anything like me, portraits and figures are a bit scary, but that's for another video. So what the heck is gesture drawing? It's a fluid, fast-moving, instinctual way of mapping out shapes. It's the quickest way to train your brain, eye, and hand to get along well when drawing. You may be more familiar with gestural drawing's slightly more evolved sister, shall we say, fashion sketching. But the mechanics of gesture drawing apply to any subject matter to give us that type of accuracy, even if it's a flower or a landscape. All right, friends, let's get into it. And guess what? Stand up. That's right. You're going to be doing this standing. I'm starting with the very loose hand. I'm holding my pencil higher on the pencil. It's going to feel weird and out of control, but that's the point. Loosen up your wrist and make sure that most of the motion is coming from your shoulder, not from your wrist. And then last but certainly not least, a very light touch. And for this one, I prefer a pencil that isn't perfectly sharpened. Notice how I'm holding this pencil, not traditionally. I'm holding it between my forefinger and my thumb, and I'm starting with a really light circle and then a loose curved stroke representing the stem of the cosmo. Notice how my hand is just scrubbing over and over. It's like my pencil and my eye are working together to carve out, to sculpt the shapes. The point here isn't realism, friends. It's creating an image or an impression that is convincing of what is in front of you. And yes, go over and over an area, changing the shape ever so slightly with another thin, wispy, lightly touched mark. You're going to scratch, you're going to scribble, but just remember the movement comes from your shoulder mostly, and you want a super light touch. Go back to basic shape mapping. Notice how I created some ovals and circles and then edited those shapes down as I continued to work on this scene overall. One great tip for successful gesture drawing is to try to keep your pencil on the page as much as possible. Now, there's a whole other type of drawing technique where you never lift the pencil. That's not what I'm talking about. The more you can stay connected with your paper, I feel like your hand and your eye coordination just flows better. I'm sure there's science behind that, but I'm not going to be able to explain it, so just trust me. So what are we thinking about as we're creating a gestural drawing? Beyond all the mechanics of how to hold the pencil and where the movement comes from on our body, we're thinking about a couple of really important things. In this case, the curve of the stem was super important, and I wanted to get that right. And so that was one of the first things I laid down. And then I was thinking about the proportion or the big shape, the big circle, oval, whatever you want to call it, that represented the main flower's head. And then I started to think about the direction of the petals as they emanated from the center of the flower. And then I really started to focus on the curl of the petals and representing the two different shapes that, when brought together, would really feel kind of accurate of how a petal curls up or down. All the while keeping my pencil moving fluidly, smoothly across the page. Let's head to comments. Let us know if you've ever tried gesture drawing, and if you have, has it been for flowers or something else? And if you're getting any value from this video today, I would love a boop. That's a like. And don't forget, friends, I read every single comment on this channel and work really hard to respond to every single comment. So if you have a question, get on down there and let me know about it. This is why I love gesture drawing. It's freedom and fluidity, and it gives you confidence once you've done it a couple times. It gives you the freedom to make a mistake and immediately on the spot correct that mistake, or at least get closer to the correction. The knowledge that nothing on your page right now is permanent is incredibly freeing. Gesture drawing is soft, slow, steady momentum if you let it be. And that is admittedly the hard part. the more you practice this approach to sketching, the more comfortable you'll be with it. And I know that's a cliche and that is overstated, but this particular style of sketching is definitely a habit that you have to build. But luckily, it's quick, so get on it. Oh, that sounded sassy, but I just want the best for you, and I want you to have confidence in your drawing skills along this journey, and I know this will do it. And now you might be feeling like you're ready to get a bit more realistic with your blooms, but not before you learn about petal direction a little bit more in this video. And friends, until next time, I wish you the happiest of painting.